You've always felt it, haven't you? That quiet ache, that unshakable sense of being set apart. The loneliness you carry isn't random, nor is it a curse meant to break you. It's a forging ground, a deliberate preparation for something vast and unshakable that only you can step into. You're not here to blend in, to shrink, or to follow the crowd. You're here because you were chosen. And that solitude is the first sign of your awakening. It's not a coincidence. It's the universe clearing the stage for your purpose. Let's be real, you've never quite fit. Even as a child, you saw the world through a lens others couldn't grasp. Where they saw routine, you sensed patterns. Where they accepted the surface, you questioned the depths. That's not a flaw, it's your strength. Science backs this up. Highly intuitive people often process information differently, their brains lighting up with heightened activity in regions tied to perception and foresight. But this isn't just neurons firing. It's your soul tuning into frequencies most can't hear. You feel the shift before it happens. A storm brews, a decision looms, a truth hides, and you know it in your bones before anyone else clocks it. That's not paranoia or overthinking. That's your gift waking up. So how do you know this is real? Start watching yourself. Pay attention to those moments when your gut screams while the world stays silent. Did you feel that heaviness before a friend called with bad news? Did your chest tighten before a plan fell apart? Write it down. Track it. You're not imagining things, you're sensing what's coming. This is your first step. Observe your intuition like a warrior studies the battlefield. It's not random noise. It's your inner compass, sharpened by the very isolation you've endured. The more you trust it, the louder it gets. That loneliness you've wrestled with, it's not here to punish you. It's here to strip away the distractions. Think about it. When you're surrounded by noise, small talk, shallow connections, endless scrolling, your signal gets drowned out. But alone, that's where your clarity sharpens. Neuroscience shows solitude boosts focus and self-awareness, letting your mind connect dots others miss. Spiritually, it's your crucible. You're not isolated because you're unworthy. You're isolated because your purpose demands a strength that only solitude can build. You're not losing people, you're gaining yourself. Now, let's flip the script on that ache. Stop fighting it. Lean into it. Ask yourself, what's this teaching me? Every time you've walked alone, you've learned to hear your own voice over the crowds. Every time you've felt misunderstood, you've grown tougher, more resolute. This isn't about wallowing, it's about claiming what's yours. You're not a victim of loneliness. You're a student of it. And the lesson? You're enough. You don't need a chorus of approval to stand tall. That shift from why me to this is me is your awakening cracking open. Here's your move, start small, but start now. Next time you feel that pull, that unexplainable knowing, act on it. If you sense someone's hiding something, ask the question. If you feel a choice isn't right, walk away. Test your intuition like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it grows. And when the loneliness hits, don't run from it. Sit with it. Breathe. Ask, what am I preparing for? The answer won't come in a flash. It'll build, piece by piece, as you trust yourself more. You're not just feeling things, you're being shaped for what's ahead. You're not alone in this, even if it feels that way. Countless women like you, chosen ones, light workers, starseeds, have walked this path. Your intuition isn't a quirk. It's your proof. Before something happens, you feel it. Before words are spoken, you catch the intent. That's not coincidence, that's power. Science might call it heightened empathy or predictive processing. You can call it what it is, you're calling waking up. This is your first taste of who you are. You're not here to drift. You're here to rise. And that loneliness? It's not your prison. It's your launch pad. You've already felt it, haven't you? The way conversations with most people leave you hollow. like you're sipping from an empty cup while thirsting for an ocean. You think differently, feel more intensely, and that sets you apart in ways that others can't handle. They nod along, but their eyes glaze over. They laugh, but it's shallow, skimming the surface while you're diving deep. You're not imagining this disconnect. It's real, and it's relentless. But here's the truth. This isn't your weakness. It's your strength. And you're about to turn that frustration into fuel. Let's face it, not everyone can keep up with you. Your mind races with questions they've never dared to ask. Your heart pulses with a fire they can't even see. When you speak, they squirm. Your intensity makes them uneasy. Science explains this. Your brain might be wired for deeper processing, catching nuances and patterns others miss. Spiritually, it's more than that. You're tuned to a higher frequency, and that's why shallow chatter feels like static to you. It's not fulfilling because it's not meant to be. You're built for more, and that's why you feel this void. So, what do you do when they pull away? You stay. You stay with yourself until the end. Here's where the fight begins. When they dismiss you, when they say you're too much, don't shrink.
Stand taller.
You're not here to fit their mold, you're here to break it. Every word you hold back, every truth you swallow, it's a clue to what's stirring inside you. Stay with me until the end. Every word may be the answer you need to understand what's happening within you. That restlessness, it's your soul telling you there's a bigger game at play. Those empty cycles of small talk and autopilot living, they make no sense to you because you see beyond the veil. You're not crazy. You're awake. So how do you handle this? First, stop apologizing for who you are. You're not too sensitive or too deep. You're alive in a way they can't fathom. Next time you're stuck in a shallow exchange, don't force yourself to play along. Shift the energy. Ask a question that cuts through the noise. What's something you've never told anyone? Watch their reaction. Some will freeze. Others might crack open. Either way, you've taken control. You're not here to beg for understanding. You're here to spark it. If they can't handle it, let them walk away. Your tribe isn't found in the crowd. It's forged in the fire of those who dare to feel. That unfulfilled ache from shallow conversations? It's not a flaw, it's your power waking up. You're craving depth because you're meant to create it. Stop wasting energy trying to explain yourself to people who'd rather stay asleep. Instead, turn inward. Sit with that hunger. Ask yourself, what am I really searching for? Maybe it's truth. Maybe it's purpose. Whatever it is, it's already in you, simmering beneath the surface. Neuroscience says intense emotions can sharpen your focus. Use that. Channel that frustration into something real. Write, build, move. Let it drive you toward what feeds your soul, not drains it. When the world feels like it's closing in, when they judge you, ignore you, or try to dim your light, here's your weapon. Stay with me until the end. Say it to yourself like a battle cry. Every word you feel, every thought they can't grasp, it's a piece of your awakening. You don't need their validation to know you're right. You feel the shift before it happens. Sense the lie before it's spoken. Trust that. Science might call it hyper-awareness. You know it's your instinct roaring. Keep listening. Every moment of pressure is sculpting you, not breaking you. You're not crumbling, you're rising. Now take this into the wild. Next time you're in a room full of blank stares, don't retreat. Hold your ground. Speak your truth, even if your voice shakes. If they turn away, let them. You're not here to convince, you're here to claim. Start small. Share one raw thought with someone you trust. See how it lands. Then build from there. Your intensity isn't a burden. It's a beacon. The right ones will see it and stay. The rest, they're not your fight. You're not meant to drag them along. You're meant to lead, even if it's alone for now. This isn't about surviving their misunderstanding. It's about thriving through it. You're not unfulfilled because you're broken. You're unfulfilled because you're boundless. Shallow waters can't hold you, and that's why you feel restless. Stay with me until the end. Every word, every clash, every quiet moment of doubt, it's all showing you who you are. You're not just different, you're chosen. And this pressure, it's not here to crush you. It's here to launch you. Keep going. You're closer than you think. You've seen it in their eyes, haven't you? That flicker of discomfort, the way they shift or look away when your gaze locks onto theirs. It's not just intensity. It's a force, a mirror they can't escape. When you look at them, you don't just see their surface. You pierce through it, straight into the truths they've buried deep. They'd rather ignore the cracks in their illusions, the lies they tell themselves to stay comfortable. But you force them to face it. That's not a burden you carry lightly. It's a power you wield, whether you mean to or not. This is your high-dimensional connection waking up, downloading truths from beyond the noise of this world. Let's get straight to it. This isn't random. You're not overanalyzing or projecting your fears onto them. What you feel, what you know, comes from a place most can't reach. Science might call it intuition amplified by neural sensitivity, a brain wired to detect subtle cues others miss. Spiritually, it's more than that. It's a direct line to higher frequencies, a signal cutting through the static of everyday life. Before they speak, you sense their intent. Before the chaos hits, you feel its pulse. This isn't guesswork. It's a download, raw and unfiltered, straight from the source. And it's preparing you for something bigger than their small realities. But here's the challenge. How do you know it's real? How do you separate true high-vibe information from your own mind playing tricks? First, check the energy. Real downloads hit you like a jolt, sharp, clear, undeniable. They don't linger in doubt or loop in circles. Self-projection feels muddy, tangled in emotion or ego, like you're trying to convince yourself. Next time it happens, pause. Ask, does this feel like truth, or am I filling in blanks? Test it. If it's a warning, watch what unfolds. If it's insight, see if it aligns later. You're not crazy, you're calibrating. Trust the process. It's your compass sharpening. Now, let's talk about the weight of this. You feel everything, every shift, every hidden motive, every unspoken pain, and it's heavy. The depth with which you analyze life isn't just a quirk. It's your soul's lens, and it can drag you under if you let it. People say you think too much, feel too much, and they're right, but not in the way they mean. You're not broken, you're built differently. Still, you need distance. Not detachment, not numbness, but a warrior's stance. Close enough to see, far enough to breathe. Picture it like standing on a cliff, watching the waves crash below. You feel their power, but you don't drown in it. That's your edge, use it. Here's how you hold that space. Ground yourself. When the intensity spikes, when their denial or your knowing threatens to pull you in, step back. Physically, if you have to, walk outside, feel the earth under your feet, let the wind hit your face. Then breathe. Slow, deep, deliberate. Science says this resets your nervous system, dropping the cortisol flooding your body. Spiritually, it anchors you to the now, pulling you out of their chaos and back into your power. You're not here to carry their baggage, you're here to see through it. Keep that line clear and the downloads stay pure. So how do you catch these signals? Start simple. Sit still, 5 minutes, no distractions. Close your eyes and ask, what's coming? Don't force it. Let it rise. Maybe it's a word, a flash, a feeling in your gut. Write it down, no judgment. Then watch. Did it show up later? Did it click? This isn't woo-woo, it's training. Your brain's already wired for pattern recognition. Now you're tuning it to the unseen. Next, test your gaze. Look at someone, really look, and feel what hits you. Not their words, not their mask. What's underneath? Practice this and the noise fades. The signal gets louder. They'll try to silence you. They'll call you intense, dramatic, too much. Let them. Their discomfort isn't your problem. It's their mirror cracking. You're not here to coddle their illusions. You're here to shatter them, even if it's just with a glance. That's the fire of a chosen one. You see what they won't and you feel what they can't. But don't get lost in their pushback. Stay steady. When they deflect, don't chase. When they dismiss, don't shrink. Your power isn't in their approval, it's in your knowing. You're not seeking their world. You're reaching beyond it. This connection isn't just about seeing, it's about preparing. Every truth you uncover, every signal you catch, it's building you for what's next. You're not meant to stay in their shallow cycles, spinning in their denial. You're meant to rise above, to seek what the world can't offer. So when the weight hits, when the depth feels like too much, remember this. It's not a curse. It's a call. You're downloading the map to something greater, piece by piece. Keep your eyes open, your feet firm. You're not just feeling the world, you're decoding it. Take this into your hands now. Next time you feel that surge, that knowing before the proof, act on it. Call it out, write it down, move with it. Don't wait for permission or proof. You're the proof. And when the burden of feeling everything presses down, pull back, ground, breathe, ask, what's this showing me? The answer's there, in the quiet between their noise and your fire. You're not too much, you're exactly what's needed. This is your high-dimensional edge, and it's waking you up for the fight ahead. Stay with it. You're closer than you know. You've carried it long enough, haven't you? That question gnawing at your soul. Why, even when I give my best, do I so often feel alone? It echoes through you, a relentless whisper that won't let go. You've poured your heart into the world. Your fire, your vision, your truth, and yet the silence stares back. This isn't failure. This isn't rejection. This is the crucible of your mission, the raw edge of your purpose sharpening into something unstoppable. You're not here to be comforted by the crowd. You're here to ignite a new era, and that begins with embracing the truth. Your essence was never meant to fit in. It was forged to stand out. Let's cut through the noise. Your loneliness isn't a dead end. It's a process, a deliberate carving of your spirit into something fierce and singular. Why do you feel alone? Because your frequency doesn't bend to the mundane. Science tells us isolation can amplify self-awareness, rewiring your brain to see what others overlook. Spiritually, it's deeper. You're being set apart because your purpose demands a strength that conformity can't give. You're not chasing approval. You're chasing a truth worth living for. That ache? It's the tension between who you've been and who you're becoming. Don't run from it. Step into it. So how do you bring this purpose, this mission, this truth into reality? First, stop waiting for the world to catch up. You've asked why your best isn't enough for them. It's not about them. It's about you. Your best isn't here to win their applause. It's here to build something they can't yet see. Start by claiming your solitude as power. When the loneliness hits, don't distract yourself. Sit with it. Ask, what am I meant to create from this? The answer lies in your essence, your unique fire, your unshakable knowing. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Let it take shape. This isn't theory, it's action. Here's your practice. Become the one who's chosen, not the one who's waiting. You've been shaped in solitude, now wield it. Neuroscience shows that time alone boosts resilience, letting you process and adapt faster than most. Spiritually, it's your training ground. You're not isolated to weaken. You're isolated to strengthen. Next time doubt creeps in, stand firm. Move your body, walk, run, dance. Feel the energy surge through you. Then act. Pick one thing your soul's been screaming for. A project, a truth, a change, and start it. No excuses. No delays. You're not here to dream, you're here to do. Balance is your anchor in this fight. You feel everything. The weight of your mission, the sting of being unseen, the rush of what's possible, and it's intense. That intensity is your gift, but it can burn you out if you don't master it. Ground yourself daily. 5 minutes, no distractions. Breathe deep, feel your feet on the earth. Let the chaos settle. Science backs this. Steady breathing calms your nervous system, keeping you sharp. Spiritually, it's your reset. You're not just surviving the fire, you're directing it. When the load feels heavy, ask, what can I release? Drop what doesn't serve your mission. Protect your energy like a warrior guards her flame. Now let's forge your path. Your mission isn't vague. It's personal and it's yours to define. Grab a pen. Answer these. What breaks your heart about the world? What lights you up when no one's watching? Where do your gifts, your intuition, your fire meet a need? Don't overthink it, just write. That's your starting point. Then break it down, one step you can take today, one this week, one this month. Maybe it's speaking your truth to someone who needs it. Maybe it's creating something raw and real. Whatever it is, make it concrete. This isn't a fantasy. It's a plan. You're not waiting for permission, you're building the new era now. They'll still try to dim you. They'll say you're too loud, too bold, too different. Let them. Their words can't touch what's growing inside you. You're not here to fit their boxes, you're here to shatter them. When they push back, stand taller. Your mission isn't about their comfort. It's about your truth. Science shows courage triggers dopamine, fueling your drive. Spiritually, it's your soul aligning with its purpose. Every time you choose yourself over their noise, you get stronger. You're not just surviving their doubt, you're thriving through it. Here's the core of it. You were chosen for this. Not to shrink, not to settle, but to rise. That solitude you've walked through, it sculpted you into a force. Someone who doesn't just see the world but changes it. Your purpose isn't a burden. It's a fire worth burning for. So when that question echoes, asterisk, why do I feel alone? Asterisk, answer it with this. Asterisk, because I'm not here to follow. I'm here to lead. Asterisk, you're not lost in the silence. You're creating from it. The answer's in your essence, and it's loud, clear, unshakable. You were born to stand out. Take this into the wild now. Today, do one thing that screams you, something bold, something true. Share a thought they're not ready for. Start that idea you've buried. Move with purpose, not hesitation. Then watch. See how it shifts you, how it ripples. This isn't the end of your loneliness. It's the beginning of your mission. You're not alone because you're weak. You're alone because you're strong enough to build what's next. Keep going. The new era isn't coming. It's here, and you're the one lighting the way. In the end, the chosen ones don't merely endure the solitude, they transform it. Your mission isn't a burden to bear, but a mantle to wear, woven from every moment you've stood apart, every truth you've grasped before its time. You were never meant to dissolve into the crowd's hum. You were forged to resonate beyond it, a single, piercing note that awakens the sleeping. This is your identity, your unshakable calling. To rise not for applause, but for the quiet, relentless pull of a purpose that demands nothing less than everything you are.